What's up everybody, welcome to another camera comparison video. Today I have this Oppo Reno 6 Pro and OnePlus Nord 2. Well, you check carefully which smartphone microphone is working better, which smartphone has reproduced my skin tone, colors of my clothing better, and make a comment. Let me know which one is doing better. Well, one request. If you end up liking this video, if you find this video helpful, then please don't forget to click on the like button and please subscribe to this channel. Please support true content. I always try to provide you with true content, and I always try to make this type of camera comparison videos, honest review videos. So if you like this type of videos, so please subscribe to this channel. Well, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's flip to rear cameras.
So let's get lost out here. No one else out here. Find ourselves out here.
Let's start differently. Let's straight get to the point. These photos were taken in the verge of sunset and it wasn't totally dark. I have taken all the photos of this comparison in auto mode with auto HDR and AI was actually enabled. It's clearly visible OnePlus Nord 2 has better exposure, grabbed more details, and sharpness is on point. Subject is also in focus without any hiccups. On the other hand, as Reno 6 Pro has a poor main sensor, 64 megapixel OmniVision OV64B, performance in low light is really not as good as it should be. Based on its price, I had better expectations from Reno 6 Pro. I also need to mention I really hate to see Reno 6 Pro doesn't have OIS. Yeah, OnePlus Nord 2 is a bit cheaper than Oppo Reno 6 Pro and has a better main sensor, Sony IMX766. Most importantly, that 50 megapixel sensor is tagged with OIS. These photos were taken in even more harsh lighting condition, under true darkness with different light sources in foreground and background. Considering OnePlus Nord 2's night mode performance in my other camera comparison videos, I really didn't even think that Reno 6 Pro could beat Nord 2. When I check night mode photos, I always check DENS, details, exposure, noise and shadows. In terms of details and texture processing, Nord 2 is in another league. Within this price range, there is only one other smartphone which can compete with Nord 2, and that's Realme GT Master Explorer. Reno 6 Pro with poor aperture obviously cannot have better exposure. Next is noise, and who doesn't know OnePlus has one of the best noise removing algorithm. Better exposure, highlights and contrast ratio leads to better shadows. Only if Nord 2 could manage to have better white balance and true to life color tone, then these photos could compete with any flagship smartphone night mode photos.
This must be fate, must be a sign. So lost here, lost forever. Love being the star.
Okay, let's check some human portrait photos in low light environment. As none of these two smartphones comes with any telephoto lens, both Nord 2 and Reno 6 Pro depends on the main sensor to grab portrait photos. We took these photos in the evening and I'm surprised by the performance of OnePlus Nord 2. Superb focus metering, enough details on the subject, amazingly well processed textures, exposure, white balance, brightness, contrast, color grading and sharpness. No, there is no segment where Oppo Reno 6 Pro could put up any fight in portrait photography. OnePlus has promised better low-light portrait photos in Nord 2 launch event, and I was actually skeptical. But now, I'm happy to see Nord 2 has actually managed to deliver something exceptional. Even if I haven't mentioned, but I believe you have already noticed that awful skin smoothing beauty effect on Reno 6 Pro photos, haven't you? Okay. Edge detection, edge cutouts and separation line blend is similar. However, Reno 6 Pro bokeh looks a bit better.
Rather just stay, make a new life with you.
Okay, these are ultra-wide photos and both of these two smartphones have the same 8 megapixel sensor sitting behind ultra-wide lens. On paper, OnePlus Nord 2 specification says it has wider field of view, but in reality the difference is barely noticeable. I also have heard many other people talking about OnePlus Nord 2 dynamic range, but in ultra-wide photos, dynamic range of these two smartphones is pretty similar. Yeah, Both OnePlus Nord 2 and Reno 6 Pro ultrawide photos are less vibrant and there are less details. Of course, there are differences like Nord 2 continuously overprocessed photos, not only ultrawide photos, I mean all photos, especially when AI is enabled. Okay, these are main sensor data in photos and OnePlus Nord 2 sometimes increased ambience. Sometimes saturation is higher than usual and whenever there is sky in the frame, it tries to add blue tone. And that, yeah, sometimes makes things funny cause you'd never see blue sky in an overcast day. On the other hand, Oppo Reno 6 Pro, no, it also didn't do anything better. It also has its own issues, bizarre white balance, low details, poor texture processing, poor dynamic range. I mean, obviously OnePlus Nord 2 has better dynamic range in the photos taken with the main sensor, and altogether OnePlus Nord 2 daytime photos are far better than Oppo Reno 6 Pro. I really don't know why this Oppo Reno 6 Pro is that expensive. What does it have better than its competitors? Can anybody reply me? Maybe Reno 6 Pro can take good pictures in indoor artificial lighting condition. Let's check these photos. Well, white balance and tonal contrast is really not that good in Oppo Reno 6 Pro photos. I have to mention, OnePlus Nord 2 also sometimes have warm white balance, but it has better exposure and well-lit areas are well managed. It was difficult to figure out which one of these two has better color grading, because most of the time due to white balance and saturation issues, none of these two have reproduced a photo with correct color tone, a color tone that matches real life colors. I mean, none of these two have managed to render true to life colors. But after checking a lot of photos, OnePlus Nord 2 has done better. Color rendition of OnePlus Nord 2 has more natural tone than Oppo Reno 6 Pro. In terms of details and sharpness, of course, I didn't even think Reno 6 Pro would do better than OnePlus Nord 2. Nord 2 with a better main sensor and better stock camera not only grabbed more details but also have managed to balance between shadows and sharpness. It's neither too sharp nor the shadows are crushed. Considering all the aspects, OnePlus Nord 2 is the winner of this segment. And there is no way I can say based on personal preference, some people may choose Oppo Reno 6 Pro. Cause I think nobody would choose a photo that has less details, more noise, awful white balance and bizarre colors. Other than a typical Oppo fanboy, everybody would accept OnePlus Nord 2 is winning this battle. This is why we need OIS, optical image stabilization. These video clips were recorded at 1080p 30 frames per second. We wanted to check stabilization, the real differences between OIS and EIS. I have tried to run for a while and you can see the differences by yourself. More jelly effect and jitteriness on the clip recorded by Oppo Reno 6 Pro. In terms of details and texture processing, there are a few differences, nothing like day and night. Colors and white balance is also pretty similar. However, altogether, stabilization and processing makes the difference. Oh my god, this is crazy. Once we have tried to record 4K videos, yes, I have tried to cautiously hold the smartphone cause there is no OIS support on 4K, but that's not the issue. I'm surprised to see white balance and color grading. What did OnePlus Nord 2 did to the colors? Even if Reno 6 Pro has a bit warm tone, colors are almost on the perfect line. But OnePlus Nord 2, that's bizarre. Very high midtones, highlights and crazy contrast ratio, that's really poor. But wait, let's talk about skin tone. And that added fairness on Reno 6 Pro has really ruined everything. Have you noticed? Actually Reno 6 Pro has better dynamic range. Watch these 4K clips again and you will notice it on the skyline. But overall, truly poor 4K performance. These video clips were recorded at 1080p. Yeah, you can see I have recorded these at night in a very harsh lighting condition. Well, I do not think I have to differentiate because the differences are pretty much visible. Anyway, there is a smartphone giveaway going on for the subscribers of this channel. To join the giveaway, what you have to do is to subscribe to this channel and make a comment defining which of these two smartphones produced better nighttime video and why. Check carefully and make a comment.
This must be fate, must be a sign. So lost here, lost forever. Love being stuck here with you.
Time for selfie portraits. Reno 6 Pro saturated the colors, added fairness to skin. There is almost no details on the subject. Check my t-shirt, check my beards. Both have the same Sony IMX615 32 megapixel sensor for selfie photos. But OnePlus Nord 2 has more details and textures. Yeah, nothing drastic but better. Edge detection, edge cutouts and separation line blend is almost the same as the rear camera portraits. Both are similar.
Must be fate, must be a sign.
Okay, it's time for verdict, and I think Oppo Reno 6 Pro is really another overpriced device like many other Oppo smartphones. It offers very poor value for money. On the other hand, OnePlus Nord 2, considering its price and overall performance, is really a good smartphone. What's your thought on this? Please make a comment and let me know in the comment section below.